We are so happy and honored to welcome our guest today, Miss Debbie Allen.
Hey, how you doing?
Wow,
This is live. Technology is amazing.
Well,
amazing.
I mean, you just look like this, and Jeannie's like, she looks so good. Yes, yeah.
Child, please.
So
I'm
we are
having a
welcoming
flash.
Debbie from her home studio. And from your dance studio. Sorry, from your dance studio. And I just wanted to give a little story before we get into this, that when we worked with Debbie at Insecure, we still talk about it to this day, how incredible a director you were, and how we would all cross our fingers after each take because we knew it was a good one when you would go, cut.
Hello.
And we'd be like, oh, we got the hello. We got the hello. We did it. If we didn't hear hello.
I'm so glad the show has been so successful all these years. I enjoyed directing you guys, and I guess I just got caught up in Grey's Anatomy. I can't hardly direct anything other than Grey's Anatomy anymore.
Oh my God. Yes, and thank you for being with us, Miss Allen. I want to know, how are you holding up in quarantine?
Well, child, let's be real. It's real, so let's be real.
Yes.
I am just Aunt Jemima and Julia Child reborn. I cook 3 meals a day. I am cleaning. My hands will never look the same. Forget a manicure. It's all good. But you know what? I'm delighting in the time that I'm spending with my husband because, you know, this is a time when you can find out whether you really can be together. And that's kind of proving that. That's kind of proving that. So I'm, you know, and working really hard to bring the Dance Academy back. You know, I have so many people that are out of work. There are no product, you know, the dancers out of work, the teachers are out of work, the choreographers out of work. And, you know, so I've created a Dada virtual dance world. So I've been busy.
Have you been leading the household in dance classes?
Well, you know what? My husband is playing all of his favorite songs, and we do a lot of dancing in the kitchen. I have mastered making a lemon drop martini. We have one maybe every other day. And actually, we've been a little romantic in the kitchen.
Yeah. That's the way to quarantine. Are you joining the quarantine baby club, Miss Allen?
We call it the quarantini.
I love that.
Well, something else you've been doing during the quarantine, which I love and has helped me and everyone else tremendously, is that you've been doing Instagram dance classes. They've become a hit. What inspired you? What inspired you to start providing the lessons online?
Well, you know what? The day I had to shut down the Debbie Allen Dance Academy here in LA was the same day that we shut down Grey's Anatomy. We were the first major show to shut down. And I was having my last meeting with my staff, and it felt like it was going to be the last time we were going to see each other. I was like, you know what, guys? I'm going to do a live class on my Instagram. And it turned out really well. And so now I do it every Wednesday at 1:00 Pacific Coast time. And on Saturday for the younger kids, it's going to change to a 9:00, 10 and 11 o'clock time. And it's just been great to, my goodness, people from all over the world. It's pretty amazing.
How does it feel to know that anybody in the world could be a student at the Debbie Allen Dance Academy?
Well, you know, this feels so amazing for me because I always say Dada is my church. And it's a very spiritual thing for me to dance. It is touching your spirits, not just your body, but I'm touching your spirit and your heart. And that's your lifeline. You know, a lot of the nurses and healthcare workers will tell you that spirit is what gets a lot of people through. And so I feel just blessed to be able to share my gifts with the world. And I'm so grateful to people like Wallace Annenberg and Shonda Rhimes and David Coburn and the Ford Foundation, all the people who have helped us for years develop the programs and understand the value of the arts. And I'm inspired by those children that need to see my face. They need to. And I did not only that class, but I did a class for the healthcare workers, just their own private class. Lollipop. I had 4 hospitals at one time, and we're going to keep doing that too. That's just for them.
Amazing.
Wow. Amazing.
So with all these classes that you are teaching, and you said you're dancing in the kitchen with your husband, Do you have a favorite quarantine tune?
Well, you know what? I have to go back to Miss Ross, the boss. Ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough. Ain't no river wide enough to keep me from you. That's kind of like
I love that.
The theme.
Yes.
The ethos.
All right, Miss Allen, if people want to get involved, because I know there's a ton that are wanting to jump into this, how do they, if they don't have a ton of space in their home or their apartment, like how can you get into your dance lives and then not be able to like move?
Well, you know, my class, I know this. So I know I'm designing the class so it can happen in a space that's maybe 3 by 4 feet. Like sitting in a chair, you can do it. Almost.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Damn.
Sitting in a chair.
Well, I mean, just the upper body, because there are many people that take my classes that are not as mobile. I mean, I have a class called Calibri Arts, where I teach the elders from their 65 to 95-year-old students.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're all confined to this little rectangular screen right now. Debbie, can you teach us how to do some dance moves in our chairs?
Well, we could start here. Pull into your heart.
Yes.
And open out to the world. Rise up. And bring it down. And then party.
Now, Miss Allen, you are such a positive force in people's lives, and we could all use some good vibes these days. So who do you turn to for support?
Well, you know what? This is a time where family is so important. Mm-hmm. My daughter, Vivian, has given us all the greatest gift of my first grandchild.
Oh my gosh, and congratulations.
I have a little baby grandchild, Shiloh, who's a year and 2 months old. And honest to God, every time I see her, I feel like everything is normal. And I feel like this is what it's about. Her future, not mine, hers. So I get a tremendous amount of inspiration from my granddaughter, who's a year and 2 months old, and from my mom, who is 96.
Wow.
Oh, we got
Mama,
how is she doing?
Ago, they wouldn't even give her a test because they said she's been so kind of isolated and she's healthy.
Well, you know what? We're glad that mom is healthy. And, you know, Miss Allen, you have been such an inspiration to all of us. But there's someone that's been there for you both professionally and personally, and that's Shonda Rhimes. We heard that she brought your dance academy a whole new building. How did that come about?
Well, you know, Shonda Rhimes is an incredibly generous human being with her art and with her resources. And her children have been studying with me, and she saw what we were doing. She has a lot of respect for the work. I mean, our work is focused on young people, old people, cancer patients, battered children and their moms. The reach of dance is, the language of the dance is universal. Yeah. So we're bursting at the seams here at Dada. And when I was doing the Hot Chocolate Nutcracker 2 years ago, we couldn't even rehearse the bows because there was not enough space for me to fit all the kids in one room. They had to be in the hallway. And she just looked up and we were talking about it. And she called me one day. She says, Debbie, I want to take you somewhere. And I met her and she found the building and she bought it.
Wow.
And she gifted it to us with our promise to keep the footprint of the arts prominent in as many people's lives as possible. And right on the heels of Shonda was Wallace Annenberg, who gifted us a huge amount of money to help us build it. It was still raising money. This might be the worst time in the world to raise money. And who else supported us was my dear, dear beloved Kobe Bryant and his wife. Kobe Bryant was one of the biggest supporters of Dada in our future. He believed so wholeheartedly in what we are doing and the promise of what we could do. So
that's fantastic.
We have a lot to be grateful for. Shonda Rhimes answered our call, and so many others have been there to support us. But we're in the middle of a capital campaign that's really somewhat of a
And that's what I'm
nightmare
about to
because
ask you.
how can you raise money for a building that's, yes, it's important, it's vital, but when nurses don't have masks or the doctors don't have the medical equipment, or
So to that,
30 million children are going hungry, it's really, it's hard. It's very hard, but we will prevail because what we're doing is for the community.
Absolutely.
And for that reason, we will find all the support. I know we will.
That's right.
In addition to you said the word campaign and it sparked the election that we have coming up and your work with the And Still I Vote initiative. Can you please tell us more about that? Because everything you're talking about also relates to us as, a community getting out there and voting to put the right people in position to elevate our opportunities.
Well, I joined this campaign because the facts that 17 million Americans have had to were restricted in voter registration in 16 and in 18, and that 25 states have implemented laws that also compromise the ability for people to vote, that 6 million people that have already gone to jail, paid for their crime or whatever, but are not allowed to vote. There's just too many things. And this is about every community, Black, white, Latino, my God, LGBTQ, just name any group of people who have been harassed and treated badly at the polls. We have got to look at who we are. America, I've traveled the world. What happens here is a path for the rest of the world. And if we get to where democracy and our Constitution are not functioning, the world is in trouble. It's not just us, it's the world.
Let them know, Debbie.
You better say that.
Well, we can take a look at the And Still I Vote campaign video right now. Check it out.
They try to pretend I don't matter.
Pretend my people don't matter.
But my people don't matter.
They tried to kill me.
Kill me.
Kill me.
They tried to suppress me.
Suppress me.
They try to block me. They try to suppress me. They try to deny me.
And still.
And still. And still.
And still, I vote.
I vote. Todavía voy a votar.
And still, I vote.
I vote.
And still, I vote.
And still, I vote.
Miss Allen, thank you so much for just chatting with us and dancing with us today. Please tell everyone where they can find your online dance classes.
You can go to my Instagram, The Real Debbie Allen. And you can go to the Debbie Allen Dance Academy website, look under events, and you'll find all the global classes. Talking every day. Every day we have classes. And then you can look under the academy.